Hi everyone, Jennifer Blevins-Smith with Integral Clinic Solutions, and you're watching my YouTube channel, Navigating the Business of Medicine. Today I want to talk about the importance of making sure you have an original licensing date for providers when you are doing credentialing. Whether you're initiating a new credentialing for a provider at an insurance company, you are switching a provider to a new company that you're enrolling as like a new clinic or group, or if you're doing re-credentialing, one of the pieces of information a lot of people miss gathering when they're getting all of the credentialing information from a provider is the initial licensing date that they have for their profession. Some providers, like MDs or DOs, might have multiple licensures that you will need to record the original date in which they became licensed, but nonetheless, you would need to find out the original initial date that the medical professional became licensed in their profession. Yes, you will also need to know their current licensure is not expired, and you will have to provide the expiration date for the current time period, as well as their license number. But a lot of insurances will ask for that original licensing date. This is often overlooked, and sometimes it sends credentialing specialists into a frazzle when that's the last piece of information they may need to submit a credentialing application to an insurance company. I'm doing this video to bring awareness to this so it can be collected up front with all the other information, but also to let you know that there are often resources on the internet now where you might be able to obtain this information without waiting on the provider. A lot of the licensing board websites are available to the public to search for a professional under their name, their license number, different data criteria to find them in the database. And then oftentimes it does provide the original license date. In this situation, it's very easy. It's under your control. You can obtain it, document it, store it with all their other information so you have it for next time, and be able to move forward on the application and submission. Because credentialing is usually just for the provider, this is a crucial piece that the insurance would need to vet the provider and ensure that everything is good to bring them onto their network. If for some reason you can't find that information online, you've looked under every rock, you've turned every corner, you've been creative and resourceful, and you're still not finding it, then of course you would definitely need to let the provider know you need that information and ask them to get it to you as soon as possible. In regard to MDs, DOs, maybe even some other medical professionals that I'm not thinking about at the moment, they might have multiple different licensures or certification dates that you would need to obtain. And knowing this and understanding the different possibilities under their specialty is super important. I actually did another video, and you should check it out, about the different specialties and subspecialties that specifically MDs, DOs, medical doctors can get their board certifications in. And they would have a separate licensure certification for those specialties. And you would need to provide all of that information. If you aren't aware of the different specialties and subspecialties or the governing boards that certify doctors, please check out that video. It's very helpful. It will help you understand and be able to ask the right questions, look for the right information from providers ahead of time before you start filling out those credentialing applications. Some of the worst things you can do in credentialing is delay the process because of something you have control over and neglected to do correctly. We all make mistakes, of course, it's going to happen, but these kinds of things are kind of unacceptable, especially if you can be aware of it and try to be proactive, right? So making sure that you're putting accurate information on these applications is super important, and making sure that you're completing them thoroughly and providing all the information they need for that specific provider is also very specific. There are so many things in credentialing that can go wrong that you have no control over because it's up to the insurance company and their delays, things like that, that you don't want to be responsible for delaying it further for something that you could have avoided. And that's why I do these videos, because a lot of people will start credentialing, never have done it before, and they kind of get overwhelmed with all the information that the insurance is asking for because of needing to make sure that the provider is not high risk for them to take on as a covered provider in their network. And a lot of this information is stuff that either the provider has to hand to you, or you have to get creative, resourceful, and be willing to jump in and try to find it yourself. A lot of this I've learned on my own just from trial and error and trying to get things done and getting it done efficiently. If I actually have to wait for a provider to give me something, I ask them to do it as soon as possible, and I explain to them the gravity of the situation if it were to be delayed or prolonged further. It's okay to explain that to providers, but again, you don't want to use it as an excuse. You should be proactive. I totally believe in being proactive and not reactive. And hopefully you've watched enough of my videos that you understand that's where I come from and that's how I practice, and it seems to work pretty well. If you have any questions or comments about this, I would love to hear from you. If you want to sign up to get a very basic templated worksheet, Excel sheet that I have put together for tracking credentialing applications and contract enrollment requests, as well as a very basic templated Word document of information to gather from providers. Again, these are being provided to help you, so you can do with it whatever you want, add to it, change it. It's just to help kind of jumpstart your process and help you get organized in the beginning and to kind of understand what's needed and how things go. So if you don't have those two documents yet, please, the video description will have the link to sign up for that, and then you'll be on my email register as well. So when I release new items such as courses or whatnot, you would be able to go ahead and be notified of that. Also, I do offer a credentialing and contracting course through the Thinkific platform. You do have to pay for it, but I did break it into 3 separate sections: a beginner's, an intermediate, and an advanced section. And there's a free preview for each section reviewing what will be discussed and taught in each section. So if you review that free preview and you're like, oh, I don't need that, and then you watch the next one, you're like, oh, maybe I'll start with the intermediate and not the beginners. That's why I did it that way, to try to make it more affordable for people to take it at their own pace, not to overwhelm everyone at once with all the information, and then also to be able to start where you feel is appropriate for your skill level and knowledge base. So please check that out. The link will also be in the video description, or you can scan the QR code on your screen right now and it will take you to the Thinkific platform on the beginners section. Okay, if today's video was helpful, please smash the thumbs up button, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and share this video with all of your colleagues whom you feel it would help. Thank you so much for the support. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.